Hey, just before the video gets going, I wanted to ask you guys, can we get 20 likes on this video? This is 4 days in a row with an upload. I'm really getting the train going here. Let's get right into the video now. I know you guys can do it. Welcome to Downtown Sports. My name is Downtown Steven Brown, and in today's video, we're going to be going over a couple of points from Elliotte Friedman's latest edition of 31 Thoughts. And I thought it would be a little bit of an interesting talking point because Elliotte mentioned a couple of big name defensemen that are still unsigned and that are set to become UFAs this summer. And obviously, the two big UFA defensive names that he's talking about is Alex Pietrangelo and Roman Josi. Now, the contract talks, according to Elliotte, with Alex Pietrangelo are moving along a little bit more smoothly than the negotiations with Roman Josi. And it would be crazy for either of these guys to hit free agency, but if they do, they're going to command a lot of money. Now, the whole point of me having my armchair GM up on the screen that I did in a previous video was to illustrate that the Leafs have the potential cap space to go out this offseason and add a defenseman who makes $8 million or just north of that. Tyson Barrie was the example that I used in this armchair GM, but Roman Josi and Alex Pietrangelo would probably fit into the exact same tier, skill-wise, age-wise, and whatnot. They're going to get about the same amount of money. Up on the screen right now is CapFriendly's contract comparable tool, and the proposed $8.5 million deal for 8 years could be going to one of those three big name defensemen that I mentioned previously, and that's how a contract of that magnitude would stack up to other contracts around the league. And you can see there, the number one comparable to a contract like that would be John Carlson's $8 million 8-year deal that he signed in June of 2018. Now, there are defensemen around the league that are making more than that $8 or $8.5 million number. There's PK Subban's $9 million cap hit. There's Drew Doughty and Erik Karlsson's $11 million cap hit. But I think that guys like Pietrangelo, Barrie, and Josi are probably closer to John Carlsson than they are PK Subban, Drew Doughty, or Erik Karlsson. And if you're curious to see how these defensemen compare with the fancy stats, I mean, this is a very popular player comparison tool that a lot of people use. And Alex Pietrangelo and Roman Josi are both excellent defensemen at the top percentile of almost every stat that you can imagine. And if you're curious to see how Tyson Barrie and Morgan Rielly stack up against them, I mean, pretty damn similar. They're all four of these guys are amazing defensemen. And if you could add one of Alex Pietrangelo, Roman Josi, and Tyson Barrie to a decor with Morgan Rielly in it, it's going to be fantastic. Obviously, Tyson Barrie and Alex Pietrangelo shoot right-handed, which is probably preferred over Roman Josi, but I mean, if you can land any one of those three guys, I'll take them in a heartbeat. And then I really put my thinking cap on and went to town on this one. What if the Leafs could add a really good defenseman to fill those minutes that didn't cost them $8 million in salary cap space? Well, I looked at the Tyson Barrie trade and I thought to myself, what if Kyle Dubas has one more trade like that up his sleeve next offseason? And I started looking at defensemen with 1 year left on their contract after this year, and a really interesting name stuck out to me, and it's a very similar situation to the one where Tyson Barrie got traded to the Leafs, in that Carolina has a bunch of defensemen, and so did Colorado at the time of that trade, and maybe that makes Dougie Hamilton expendable. Now, what would 1 year of Dougie Hamilton cost in a trade with Carolina? I mean, I'm not too sure, and there's a chance that Carolina just picks up the phone and hangs up immediately because they got a really good team over there themselves. But if they fear losing him to free agency and they want to recoup some assets on that, then maybe there's a trade that could work out. It just kind of depends on your line of thinking. Do you think that it's better to just go out there and acquire a UFA defenseman and throw all that money at them and just pay cap space for them? Or do you think it's a better idea to get a defenseman of similar quality with a lower cap hit, but also give up assets off your roster and from your farm system? I don't know. I just thought it was interesting because right now the Leafs have Riley, Dermott, Sandin, and Liljegren for next year, but they're going to need to at least add another really impact defenseman to that list. And then I got looking at Jake Muzzin and Tyson Barrie, and then I read Elliot Friedman's column, and the chances of Pietrangelo or Yossi reaching free agency are really slim. So then I got thinking about the Tyson Barrie trade, and maybe there's one trade like that out there available next year. Dougie Hamilton came up, and it's just like, it's a really cool rabbit hole to explore. But at the end of the day, everything in the video is just for fun, right? These aren't actual rumors out there, just something that I found interesting and I thought I would share it with you guys. So make sure to like the video if you did like it and subscribe for more, because more is always on the way. And guys, take care.